예, 안녕하세요. 데이비드 킴입니다. 사우스 코리아 경북 프로빈스 경산시티 중산 디스트릭트 경산 경산 경남 신성 아파트먼트 113 빌딩스. 오늘은 그 로빈슨 크로스에 대해서 한번 읽어드리겠습니다. I go to the sea. I was born in the years 1632 in the city of New York in England. I was the youngest of three brothers. My eldest brother, who was a soldier, was killed in the war against the Spaniards, and I don't know what happened to my other brother. My father was a very wise man, and he taught me a lot about his business. He wanted me to work for him when I was old, but I always wanted to go to sea. My father often asked me why I wanted to leave home and England to become a sailor. He said if I stayed at home, I would have a very good life. My father was old now, and I was the only son left to inherit his business. If I decided to go to sea, neither God nor my parents could help me. My father said that only very rich and very poor people wanted to sea looking for adventure. People in the middle like ourselves stayed at home and took care of their business. When I turned 18, I told my parents that now the time had come for me to become a sailor. I don't know want to work for my father, and I begged my parents to let me go to sea instead. I promised them that I think like the life of a sailor. I would come home and never talk about the sea again. My mother cried when she heard this, and my father said that the boy could be happy if he stayed at home. If he leaves England, he will be the unhappiest man in the world. I can't let him do this. Nearly a year later, I went to the herd to visit a friend who was a sailor. He told me many exciting stories about life at sea. On September 1st, 1651, I decided to go on board his ship without telling my parents. Soon after he had sailed from her, the wind began to blow and the waves looking bigger than mountains. I felt terribly sick and was afraid that I was going to die. The ship lowered back and the purse, and I saw that it was going to break in half. Every time a big wave hit the ship, I was sure God was punishing me for leaving my parents. I promised God that if He let me leave, I would go straight back to my parents' house and never set foot on a ship again. In the evening, the wind dropped and the sea was completely calm. I sat on deck and watched the sunset and the light again the next morning. It was the most beautiful sight I have ever seen. I looked down at the sea. How could this be same water as the night before? Well, Lovis, said my friend, putting his hand on my shoulder. How are you feeling today? You were frightened by that bit of wind yesterday, weren't you? The pitch of wind you say, I replied that that was a storm. A storm, left, he said, laughing. You called that a storm, you fool. Why, that was a breeze. When he arrived in London, I forget about the plumage I had made together. Instead, I walked around the streets of London, trying to decide where to go next. I met the captain of a ship that was leaving for Africa the next day. When she heard that I was looking for adventure, she said I could come along on his ship, not as a sailor, but as his guest. I happily agreed, and we sailed for Africa the next day. Thank you. 매우 흥미진진한 부분이죠. 아프리카 가서 무슨 일이 있을지 계속해서 한번 읽어드리겠습니다. Thank you for listening. 구독, 좋아요, 알림 설정은 저에게 힘이 됩니다. Thank you for listening. God bless you. Thank you.